Hello my students. Today we will complete our science revision sheets. In the previous video we stopped until question 41. So in this video we will start from question 42 in the revision sheet for grade 7. Question 42. What process do single-celled protists use in asexual reproduction to make more than 2 offspring? And please take care of this word, more than 2. More than 2, of course, it will not be binary fission because binary fission gives only 2. So the answer for this question will be multiple fission. The multiple fission gives more than 2 offspring in one time for protist. What do you call the process where a single-celled protist asexually divides into 2 cells? So in this question we have one cell divides into 2, and this is called binary fission, and this is the same kind of reproduction that the bacteria use to reproduce. Question 44. When scientists divide protists into producers, as we know, organisms that make their own food, heterotrophs that can move. Heterotrophs means that they get food from outside and they can move by using cilia or by using flagella or pseudopod like amoeba. Heterotrophs cannot move. Here we classify them by their shared traits, by their characteristics or their properties. Question 45. All algae have what color pigment? Green pigments. Yes, some of them they are red algae and some they are brown algae, but even red algae and brown algae, they have green pigments inside. Question 46. Which of the following provides most of the world's oxygen? Most of the world's oxygen comes from protists that live in ocean, like phytoplankton. Phytoplankton is kind of protist. They are single-celled and they live on the top layer of the ocean, and they make photosynthesis exactly like plants. They take carbon dioxide and they release oxygen, and they make oxygen more than trees on Earth. Question 47. What are mobile protists called? Mobile means moving. The protist that moves, we call them protozoan. Question 48. What is beneficial relation between plants and fungus? The relation between plants and fungus is a mutualism relation. In this kind of relation, plants help the fungus and give it food, and in the same time the fungus helps the plant and gives it minerals. This kind of relationships, we call it mycorrhiza. Question 49. Which 2 organisms combine to form a lichen? Lichen is a combination of 2 organisms living together. It's fungus and alga. 50. Which type of fungus looks like wool or cotton? This kind of fungus, we call it mold. 51. What type of fungi forms the largest group? The largest group of fungi is sac fungi, like yeast. So the answer will be letter B. In question 52, which organism changes the environment by causing cracks in rocks where other organisms can grow? This kind of organisms, they can live on rocks and they release acids to break down rocks, and they can make cracks in the rock. This kind of organisms are called lichen, and again lichen is a combination of 2 organisms, fungus and alga. Question 53. What characteristics of protists mean that their cells have nucleus? Them are eukaryotic organisms. Next, question 54. What do protists not have that other eukaryotic organisms have? Eukaryotic organisms, most of them, they have specialized tissues, but protists, because they are very simple organisms, they don't have specialized tissues. So the answer will be letter B. Okay, so now we will go to the next page. Next question, 55. What do chloroplasts do? Chloroplast is an organelle that found inside the plant cell and the protist cell also. They take sunlight and they change change it to food. So they capture energy from the sun and they are responsible for photosynthesis process. 56. Which process do some protists use to make their own food? As we said that protists, they make the same process like plants, which is photosynthesis. Question 57. Which type of organisms make its own food? So we will choose letter A. 58. In a sexual reproduction, how many parents are there? And they need only one parent. Question 59. What process do single-celled protists use in a sexual reproduction to make more than two offspring? Is a multiple fission. Letter C. Question 60. Most of the world's seaweeds are what type of protist producer? Seaweeds, they live in ocean and they live in water. Most of them, they have green color, so they are green algae. 61. What are eukaryotic heterotrophs with rigid cell wall and no chlorophyll? The eukaryotic organism, they have no chlorophyll. They are fungi. Question 62. When hyphae grow together in a twisted mass, what do they form? Do you remember when we said before that hypha, they come together to make hyphae, and the hyphae together they make mycelium. Mycelium is a part of the fungus that underground. 63. What is produced during a sexual reproduction that can be easily spread by wind? Fungus reproduces by spores. Spores are tiny cells that can grow into new organisms. Question 64. Which of the following is not a producer here? Ciliate like Paramecium, Diatom, Dinoflagellate, or Euglena. The only one here is not a producer is a ciliate. This is the only one that takes food from outside, like Paramecium. They have food passage way for eating. Next, which of the following is a heterotroph that is so different from other organisms that it was placed in its own kingdom? 66. When fungi live on the roots of plants, how they are obtaining nutrients? This kind of mycorrhiza is kind of, we said in this relation, both of them get benefits, and this kind of relationship we call it mutualism. Question 67. What do amoebas use pseudopodia for? If you remember that we said that amoeba, they have false feet. They extend false feet for getting food and to move. So amoeba, they use pseudopodia or false feet for moving and eating. Most protists are made of how many cells? Most protists, they are single-celled organisms, so they have one cell. 69. What term means that protist cells have nucleus? As we said, any organism that has a nucleus, we call it eukaryotic. Question 70. How do protists make their own food? Protists, like plants, they make food by photosynthesis. Next question, 71. What is one way protists are grouped? Protists are grouped by their size, by their color, by where they live, or by their traits. Of course, we classify any kind of organisms, not only protists, by their traits. Question 72. Where do most types of algae live? Most algae, they live in water, where they can make photosynthesis. Question 73. What are mobile protists sometimes called? This question is repeated. We said that most of them, they are protozoa. Question 74. What are the spore cases on the thread-like fungi? Do you remember this bag that holds the spores? We call this sporangia. Letter B. The sporangia is a sac that holds the spores. Question 75. A lichen combine what two organisms? Which two organisms combine together to make the lichen? Fungus and alga. Letter A. 76. What is the largest group of fungi? The biggest group of fungi is called sac fungi. Question 77. Which of the following is not a true statement about fungi? Fungi are consumers. This is something correct. Yes, they are consumers, or they are heterotrophs. All fungi are multicellular. All fungi are made of eukaryotic cells. Many fungi are decomposers. The answer for this question is letter B. All fungi are multicellular. This is 78. Which of the following is true of all protists? All protists, they are smaller than bacteria. They have a nucleus. They are complex organisms, or they are descended from plants. Of course, they are not smaller than bacteria, and they have nucleus. This is something true about protists, that they all are eukaryotic. So we stopped until question 78. Next video we will complete solving the revision sheets. So see you and take care of yourselves. Bye bye.